Hello everybody, how you doing? Man's out here with the marijuana. Not the super bestest quality this time actually. But you know, we move. It was free, so here we are. Today now I think I'd like to what I want to do, the kind of rough vision of the future of this kind of what I want to pursue in this area at least is I want to speak about people who speak about stuff. There are countless public intellectuals that I'm so familiar with that have completely transformed my life. So I'll just talk about it kind of holistically here, but I'm going to do a deep dive individually on each public intellectual. But I guess this could be a rough outline for like the intro to this kind of series. And it will be quite a series. There's quite a lot to say about each different kind of way of perceiving the world or different public intellectual. And I speak about them a lot. I spoke the other day about how I can like basically embody, like I can ask, or what would Alan Watts say? What would Leo Gura say? And I can kind of use these perspectives to my advantage in that way. You kind of embody them and look at perspectives from their point of view in a pragmatic sort of way. So I was in the DMs with psychedelic actualization, and he was posting Ram Dass, Baba Ram Dass, which is one of these speakers who is very spiritual, knows about psychedelics, or at least he was before he died. I told Virgo, I believe his name is, I've done a podcast with him as well, check it out. I told him that I listened to, or I have in the past, listened to tens of hours of like Ram Dass, Alan Watts, Leo Gura, Terrence McKenna, Hamza, Dan Coe. There's loads of them. And they're in many different dimensions. Of course, they're not all the same. But those who aren't super familiar, what I'm speaking of is like, so there are many different degrees and kind of levels on a hierarchy, I would describe it as, in terms of public intellectuals. One that the youth is especially familiar with, I'm sure you all know, Andrew Tate. Again, not that I don't agree with the vast majority of Tate's views, especially his views on psychedelics. He doesn't know what he's talking about at all. I made an hour video in the past called Andrew Tate is Dead Wrong about psychedelics, where I do a deep dive on just that. But it's the same thing. It's where like Andrew Tate, you know, what is he fundamentally? He'll be remembered for his ideas, really. The representation of his mind on the internet. Another word for public intellectual could be thought leader. That's a term that I got from Dan Coe. And Dan Coe synergizes productivity with spirituality and business for a very practical but also metaphysically nourishing perspective. The one thing I like about Dan Coe is that he pulls quotes from Alan Watts and Terrence McKenna. And when I hear that, when I recognise that he's listened to lots of Terrence McKenna, lots of Alan Watts, and it sounds like he's listened to a lot of Leo Gura of Actualize.org. When I recognise that, it kind of fills in a lot of gaps where if you are familiar with them and you recognise that within me, do you see the value in that? Because what I wish that public intellectuals would do more is give their views on other speakers' views. So I want Actualize.org, Leo Gura, to make a full deep dive on Alan Watts's ideas and philosophies. That would be very valuable for the contrast. It's very valuable to do that because they don't mix and match, but we need this more holistic integration. Because they're all in their own worlds. Like when I listen to each intellectual, they can influence me there and then, but then they're too divided. We need to get like, so what I just said, like Actualize.org, he actually did do a deep dive on Jordan Peterson. It's like a 2.5 hour video, understanding Jordan Peterson. He also done the same thing with Andrew Tate. He said why Andrew Tate's man philosophy cannot work. So these are mixing perspectives, and these are really valuable, and I wish that we'd done more of these. For example, if you're very interested in this scene, there exists out there, you can find it, a phone call between Leo Gura and Connor Murphy. When I found that out, I was so excited. I remember I made like a little video. I was like, oh, most people want like Netflix and chill and that. I was like, this is my form of entertainment, is a fucking hour-long phone call of Connor Murphy and Leo Gura. It was good. And then also there's I found not too long ago, Baba Ram Das and Terrence McKenna and Waiter apparently done a like an hour-long conversation together at some like table in public, like it's a bar. And it's very interesting to see that, like, because there was something that was going to happen, yeah, that didn't end up happening, which was like, I swear it was like literally like Albert Einstein and like all these psychedelic people, and like it was like the greatest thing that never happened, where like it was planned to get loads of like scientists and these intellectuals like to like do some psychedelic experiment together, but it never happened for some reason. And if it did, like the mix of like the perspectives of the people, like we need to get basically like the lead thinkers into the same place with loads of mushrooms and a lot of money. And then that is where novelty lies. And that's what we need. That's who knows, novelty is just more infinity. So yeah, sorry, I never finished the thread. So I was talking about psychedelic actualization. I was in the DMs with this guy. And yeah, so I told him that I'd listened, as I said, to tens of hours of various public intellectuals. A pro hack, if you're a wage slave, if you're going to be a wage slave, at least be a wage slave with earphones in and with a valuable lecture so you can get educated while you're there, because that's two birds with one stone. But I told him that, almost in my exact words, that these public intellectuals, like I said, I remember the message, I looked at it earlier, they evolved my base intelligence. Some days when I'm at work, I'm listening all day, like 7 hours of deep metaphysical lectures about deep contemplations, or practical things about the world in general. Think if you've done that for multiple years, about all the nuances, all the different stories and metaphors, like there's just a deep knowledge that comes from that kind of inherently from just taking in so many different perspectives. It's like reading. My best form of knowledge seems to be like lectures, because I need to hear the voice, and to even see them is another dimension. I think there's more, and there's more depth for that for me. I learn probably more digitally than reading, but I don't know. I haven't got super into reading too much before. But people like discredit, like my dad, he called me a YouTube warrior, and I was. I think the mushrooms were giving me like an ego. But being a YouTube warrior is just like the creator economy, as Dan Coe speaks of. Like, why are you hating just because it wasn't about when you was growing up? What my main point is, people. I've said this before. People like dismiss YouTube as if it's not as valid as books and reading. Like, it's still information. Like, do you understand how revolutionary this technology is? Just because most people watch dumb shit on YouTube doesn't mean that's all it's used for. For the most part, yeah, I use YouTube to listen to like uncut, really long lectures about development. I don't often pursue like just stupid shit like memes. But I just want to say there's a stigma around deriving knowledge from YouTube because it's just YouTube. But like, what the fuck is this stupid notion? Like, the internet is like some mad novelty, some magic, and everyone just wants to fucking say like, I get to an extent how like, who knows, I could be neurotic about it, or I have been in some ways in the past, but YouTube fundamentally is a profound tool of information. So I don't know why people pretend that it isn't. As if reading books is like on a pinnacle to get educated for, like, what, I could go to the school system but I can't educate myself on the internet. Like, what a stupid, like, groundless stigma. You know what I mean? I've thought that for a long time. So yeah, I just made a short actually on my TikTok and Instagram, how the public intellectuals, they synergized with psychedelic abuse. I feel like had some nuance to it, like was partly responsible. I don't know, Terrence McKenna's language, I think, is probably the way it is a lot because of how many mushrooms he did. And same with me. I think mushrooms evolve language if you do them enough. I'm not advocating you do them, but in my experience, yeah, I could definitely see how that would be the case, especially when you look at the brain scans and see how it's very like physiologically interconnected. I could see how language could evolve just for the metaphysical nature of psychedelics. But I've listened to a lot of lectures while on psychedelics as well. For example, like I'll meet an alien in like some weird entity thing, machine elf, and then I'll go, wow, like, and I'll think, what is this? And then I thought, oh, like, oh, it's that death by astonishment I've heard about, where you abandon yourself to astonishment because of how amazing it is. And then I'll go and find a lecture that talks exactly about what I've just discovered on by myself in the psychedelic realm and shit like that. It's like, when I started to become interested in intelligence, language expanded a lot. And because the thing is, yeah, like when I, like, because I'd always been an overthinker naturally. A lot of people are, right? But then, like, but the root of this is like, I want to know. I want to be like a critical thinker because that's inherently valuable to me. I don't want to like, I want to like question everything to an extent where like I really want to know what's going on, and I don't want to be deceived. So because like the way that the mind can understand the world is so incredible to me, but I also, like, I really want to know what the truth is. But when I started to get interested in what the actual truth is, and again, this was through pursuing, like, I started out with just listening to like grounded personal development such as Jordan Peterson, but then I started to like to just search into the internet again, and it just validates the internet in a way. But like since I was young, I just grew up on a computer, and then as I was always watching like top 10 amazing facts by Matthew Santoro and shit like that. And then as I got older, I just started searching like what's the meaning of life into YouTube, and I found all these intellectuals, and but I got interested. I wanted to know myself, and then you can only think as evolved as your language will allow you to. Is That's a bit like a rip-off quote that Danko refers to, a quote of Terrence McKenna. I've heard that apparently Terrence McKenna said something of that nature. Terrence McKenna talks a lot about evolving language. These people, psychedelic people, are interested in these things naturally anyway. Psychedelics basically just like make you realize like a lot of your values, which is quite interesting. Like the mushroom like has values that it will like instill into you if you do them enough, which is quite strange. But yeah, so basically what I'm saying is if I want to actually be a critical thinker and like, be efficient with my thoughts, then I'm going to need the most like diverse and like grand language or nuanced language and detailed language so that I can really deliver. And I really like speaking in it because it's easy. I love doing it. I can understand the world better. I like doing these lectures. And it helps me do philosophical inquiry, because some people's minds, like when I was younger, like I was very mumbly, my ideas were not very mature, and I recognize that looking at my old content now. When I started this version of the channel at the end of 2021, I've evolved so much since then, it's crazy, I swear. But you could recognize immaturity in people's ideas, especially with philosophy. Like, I'm not hating, yeah, but like, say like NLE Chopper and Mike Tyson done a spiritual kind of podcast, and fair enough, I love that they're doing that. And Mike Tyson's on the mushrooms a lot. NLE Chopper, obviously, check out NLE Chopper, a song called Bryson and a song called Paradise. They both have music videos, but Paradise, they censored the lyric that he said, fake ass coronavirus, cops killing, starting riots, perception is what you decide on ground, and when the sun rise, life is all a lie until you open your third eye. Change your vibrations, then you change your life. Speaking affirmations to the moon in the moonlight. Talk to my water before I drink it, cause I know that it's alive. Meditation is key, it's gonna be alright. You say you're looking for some peace, you just gotta breathe right. Everything you need is within yourself, just realize. So yeah, LLE Chopper is like a mainstream rapper who released a very minimal spiritual tunes and then just never said anything about it much again. But what I was going to say is the podcast with Mike Tyson and NLE, you can, I swear, maybe it's just me, my bias, but their ideas are rusty, man. Like, because I don't know why, it's just the nature of their minds. But I can say that about a lot of people, to be fair. And it's not really right to assume that that's objective. Basically what I'm saying is like some people, the way that they think about the world, like I'm like, I don't really like, I wouldn't see it that way if I were you, but I'm not you, and it's stupid to see like, I don't know, you just like Leo Gura done a podcast with this like theory of everything guy, and that guy, I swear, Leo, you could tell Leo was thinking it as well. Like he just like, I don't know, I'm not hating, but I swear he missed, like his intuition is just off whack, as if like maybe if he had done some breath work he'd get it a bit better. But he seems like cooked up in his mind where he just misses the point on like nearly all of the points. like, you could be talking some truth and he just, like, reinterprets it in, like, some, like, stupid, nuanced way that was not really relevant or the main point. I don't know, it sounds kind of mean to say that, but that's how I kind of thought it. Like, it's like if you try to have a philosophical discussion with somebody who, like, it's just the nature of philosophy. If you're not really deep into philosophy, and likely if you haven't done with psychedelics and stuff like that, like, people can't talk about it because you can tell it's immature. You can start a conversation and their language just hits a brick wall barrier immediately, and you can tell that they've never really penetrated, like, the depths of language, because most people are quite live on the surface metaphysically. They don't really penetrate too deep into that field. Alright, that will do, gamers, for now. I'm out of here. I hope you enjoyed. I'm going to upload this now. It's 3 videos in a day. I'm going to do a lot more of these, I reckon. Who knows? Hopefully I can... Surely if, like, you know what I mean? If that fucking Aiden Ross could get that many subscribers just by sitting in that fucking chair, just, like, playing fucking Xbox and fucking being a cunt to people with money or whatever. I mean, he's just fucking around in the Matrix, ain't he? Whatever. But if he could do that, surely I could get somewhere with my stuff, you know what I mean? I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I'm out of here anyway. I love you. Go, like, regulate your breath and get relaxed. It's a good idea. See you later.